Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, baby.
Hello.
So this is the more to the story episode.
Yes.
Um,
What actually brought us together?
yeah, or like what we didn't know was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're not going to tell the whole story of what happened. We can give minor details about what happened with Xhejlan and her parents and brother. There was a split. If y'all haven't heard the episode on this podcast, go check it out
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want to go over the whole fucking story.
Yeah, we're not going to repeat the story. If you want to listen to it, it's on one of the episodes. But we'll send it together.
Yay. Okay. So what happened was, well, first of all, let's show everybody our cups before we get into the fucking weeds of shit.
Everybody the candle burned at me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I have a La Croix.
I have a Coca-Cola. I sipped that right in the thing. Sorry to the listeners.
ASMR. So if y'all didn't know, Xhejlan stopped talking to her parents and brother for what?
And sister-in-law, yeah.
For like 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And the full story, details and everything is if you just scroll back a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
You'll
hear it.
You'll hear the story, all the details and everything. I don't know the name of the episode.
Same.
But, you can go digging and listen. So talk about now, because there's more to the story as to what happened and what we didn't know was happening behind our backs that led to things being said that were hurtful.
Yeah. And untrue.
Yeah.
That caused it all.
Right.
So I remember I finally got our apartment. We haven't officially moved in yet. It was a little bit before May, but we got the yes to the apartment. And it was like a day or two actually before we were going to move in. And I left work and I get this call and I see it's my mom. And my mom, I allowed my kids to talk to my parents because I don't think my kids should not talk to their grandparents. I feel like at the end of the day, whatever issue I have with my parents would have been with my parents. They love their grandkids, so I'm not going to stop that conversation. So I let Eliza and Ryan talk to my mom, and all I heard her say, like she was saying she loved them, all of that stuff, and then she turned and said to Eliza, "How's mommy doing?" And Liza's like, "She's good. She's really happy. We got an apartment." She was talking, and then she's like, "Xhejlan, please take the phone. I just want to talk to you, please." So I take the phone, and I'm like, okay, maybe she's, gonna apologize. And that she did. She literally started bawling her eyes out and just apologized. And I'm like, okay, this is all I wanted. And I've always said this. I've talked about, I've said it on my lives. I've said it on the video when we were talking about it. I've said, if my parents come correct, take accountability, apologize, that's all I want. And it's done and over with.
And I've always told her that I would support her regardless of anything she wanted to do. Her family is her family.
Yeah.
And, if her, I would, I'm not the type to hold a long-standing grudge unless you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you're a toxic piece of shit.
No, no, then that's a different story. But
your parents are not that. So.
No.
Anyway,
from it.
Sorry. So continue.
So then I'm listening to my mom apologize and all this stuff.
Your guard was still up.
It was definitely still up because, I didn't know if it was just so she can get her way in. I didn't know, but she was, no, she definitely was really, really regretful of the whole situation. And I remember my daughter had practice, so I dropped her off at her practice, and she's like, I'm like, so what's the change? Like, what is like, how, why? Like, I just wanted to know and understand where, how we went from being pissed off to being so loving and apologetic and accepting.
Oh, like why the change in her?
Yeah,
Like because the last time you had really spoken to her, she said, "If this is true, you're dead to me."
correct.
And you said, "I guess I'm dead to you."
I guess.
But there's
Yeah.
more to that as well, because you thought the whole time that your mom was saying, if this is true about you being gay or with a woman, then you're dead to her.
Right. But that wasn't the case.
Right. And that's what we're going to get to. So
Right.
stay tuned. It gets a little bit,
Yeah, it gets juicy.
it gets juicy. Anyway, keep going.
So she said to me, "Do you do you see your kids?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, do you see them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I see them. Didn't you not just talk to my daughter?" And she's like, "Yeah, but I got to tell you, there's so much stuff I got to tell you. Um, we were told that your ex was basically begging for you to come see your kids." And I'm like, "What?" I wake up at 5 in the morning to see my kids and just put them on the bus 10 minutes, 5 in the morning, just to see them for 10 minutes because I lived an hour away.
Every day.
Every single day, woke up at 5 in the morning to see them. Got them on the bus, went to work, which is 20 minutes away from my kids, their father's home. I left work, went back to the bus stop to pull my kids off of the bus. Dropped my son off at his dad's because he was going to hang out at his dad's, and then because he doesn't like going to his sister's soccer games or practices, took my daughter, drove her all the way back
To where her job
to
is.
where my job is, which is 20 minutes away from their house, so she can go to her soccer game practice. Stayed there till 8 8ish, yeah, around 8:30, almost 9 o'clock, because that's when practice was done. Picked her up, brought her back home, and drove an hour back. So I didn't get to Rhea and Amber's house till like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock at night.
And she was doing this. She was doing the waking up at 5 in the morning to see them, put them on the bus, picking them up from from the bus stop every single day. Every day. Unless, except for that time you got COVID.
Yeah, I had COVID and I had to stay.
You had to stay home for 2 days.
Yeah, and that killed me.
But other than that, like, she was there every single day. The practices,
They were late practices. Sometimes her practices wouldn't start till like 6 o'clock. So if they got off the bus at 3, I was hanging out at the Burger King parking lot
for 3 hours.
For 3 hours. I would eat at Burger King, wait till it's closer to her time to go to practice, go pick her up, and then bring her to their practice. And then I would get asked by their father, "Well, why don't you just pick them up and go somewhere with them?" Well, money is short. I'm paying gas money because I'm taking an hour drive to come to see them every morning, going back and forth with to work, to the house, back to my daughter's soccer practice, back to the house, back to an hour drive. I was spending almost $200 a week just on gas alone.
That's fucking crazy.
It's insane. And I was buying Burger King every single day. Every time you saw me, where was I?
Burger King.
They
knew her.
They knew me. I was a regular customer. They'd be like, "Oh, like your hair today." I'm like, "Oh God, you know what the hell I look like."
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing, but I didn't have the means. I mean, obviously sometimes I did take my kids out and we did do some activities after school if I just got paid and I just wanted to like spend time with them other than just picking up and dropping off. But for the most part, I get paid every 2 weeks. So I wasn't seeing a paycheck and like every week where you could just, splurge if you wanted. No, I had to wait. So that little bit of money that I was making was going mostly to gas and Burger King food. And that's about it. So I was legit like,
yeah,
I was running on empty,
empty.
but I needed to see my kids.
Yeah. No questions asked. So needless to say, your mother, now y'all haven't spoken since
Right.
November.
So she was told that they had to beg me to come see my kids, that I only want to be with Tori and I forgot about my kids.
Right. Like the story that was being spun to her, to everybody, was that I was taking Xhejlan away from her children.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want Xhejlan to like see her
Spend
kids.
time with the kids. She didn't want anything to do with them. Meanwhile, I'm driving back and forth to see them. Tori, at this point, did you meet them yet? Because I know you met them. You met them, but like they didn't know if you were my girlfriend just yet.
Well, Rye found out. You told Rye in December.
I told Rye. Yep.
So Liza knew a month before.
Yeah,
Liza knew in November.
Right. Eliza knew in November. So I told my mom, I'm like, she's like, literally, we thought you have turned into you just didn't care about your kid. Like, you just neglected them and you didn't give a crap. And I'm like, are you kidding? These kids are literally
your life.
My life. Like, my whole world. And she knows that. And she's seen me, what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So my mom started, like, even apologizing even more and crying. And, like, she literally felt like shit for everything that happened. And so I said to her, I said, well, why did you say I'm dead to you? Like, she said, I didn't say you're dead to me because you're gay or you're with a girl. She's like, I don't care. She said, I thought you were neglecting your children and I didn't want that for you because you went from being a mom 24/7 to me hearing you be a neglectful mom. Like, you didn't care.
So for context, basically, around the time that everything transpired between her and her parents and brother, can I say who it was, or do you not want me to say who it was that was feeding the information?
No, I already said it. You could say my ex.
Okay. Her ex was contacting her brother, and apparently every day he was contacting her brother, saying all of this shit, basically like speculate. I think she's with Tori. She doesn't see her kids anymore, and
I have to beg her to
come see them, and she's always out, would rather hang out with Tori and this and that. And he's like really playing this up to your brother.
Right.
And then he contacted your parents and was saying the same thing. And to the point that your mom said to you, Xhejlan, if you heard him, he was so convincing. Like, he really
got them,
played this story up.
Yeah.
That she found this new lover and was just completely
done with my kids.
Done with her kids and her previous life. Which was not the case.
No.
The entire time that me and Xhejlan, from the beginning, we were fighting to get your children back. Mm-hmm. It was never not a fight.
Not one.
Even now, like, not that we fight but like, we work our dicks off
to keep
this house. So that we can keep them. You know?
Yeah.
That's the main plot of the fucking story. So this guy is feeding this shit, and he's saying, I think it's with Tori. I think it's with Tori. So now Xhejlan comes out of the closet to her brother. I make the video on TikTok, if you don't know.
Walk you like a dog.
Yeah, my girlfriend will walk you like a dog. We weren't public about it.
No. But
I had made a video on TikTok about, like, my girlfriend will walk you like a dog. Just letting everybody know, hey, yeah, I do have a girlfriend. I guess.
Remember that video?
You do.
Yeah, I gotta explain that.
Give me a kiss. Anyway.
We're so cheesy.
We really are. So I make that video just like, it's a little fun thing. And her family sees it. Her brother reaches out and goes,
is it true that you are with Tori? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to tell him. He's my brother. Me and my brother have always had like a tight ass relationship. So I was like, fuck it. If I'm going to be open, I'm going to be open. And
Can I
go
say?
ahead.
She was so excited to tell him
Yeah.
because he had known about her past
Yeah.
with other girls.
And never had an issue ever.
Right. And he never gave a shit. So she called me. I remember you calling me, being like, oh my God, Tori, I'm going to tell my brother.
He's going to understand. He's
Yeah,
going to be so supportive. Watch.
I can't wait. Oh my God.
And she was nervous.
I
She's
was
like, are you sure?
I was nervous as fuck. She's like, no, my brother, he's not going to have an issue. Like, whatever. So when it went south,
oh my God.
she was confused.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what is happening? So my brother said, obviously said hurtful things, which
is fine.
Fast forward.
We all do.
What are you doing?
I'm just checking to make sure it's still recording. Anyway, we all do.
Which fast forward, we find out the reason why he was so upset, again, not because I was gay, but he was fed lies.
So basically, you know, when you're lied, when somebody sprinkles some of the truth on a lie, a full out lie, like
everything's a lie, but that one truth
thing is true. So you believe.
So now you believe it all.
Everything else is true.
So when he asked, are you dating Tori? And I said yes, he quickly believed that she is neglecting her kids. Everything that he's saying is true.
Right. Everything that X is saying is true, because if she's dating Tori, then it must be true that Tori's keeping her away from her kids.
Right.
So he
freaked out.
Right. So now this explains.
But at the time, we thought he was mad that I was gay. We didn't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the missing piece, because so many people were like, wait, it doesn't make sense.
How do they accept Rhea and Amber, but they won't accept Rhea?
Exactly.
But they do accept me. We just didn't know the whole story.
Like, it had nothing to do with gay.
No, nothing at all. My parents are extremely supportive. They don't care. They want to see us happy. They just thought, here I am, this mom who just like left her kids to be with a woman and didn't give a fuck about her kids. Like,
right.
Meanwhile, the truth is that wasn't the case.
And that was what your brother thought too, which was why he was angry.
Yeah. Which,
for me, I think about it and I'm like, yeah, rightfully so. If I knew that my sister was abandoning her, if somebody came to me and said, Dina's not seeing her kids anymore, because
she's in a relationship,
because she's with this person, and I truly believe that, and I was manipulated hardcore to believe that,
you'd be pissed.
I'd be pissed at my sister. I'd be like,
how could you
do that to my fucking nieces and nephews?
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's hard enough, like in their eyes, it's hard enough my kids are having their mom and dad split up, 15 years of marriage, to now hear mom is neglecting them.
Yeah.
And to them, it's like, what are you doing? You used to be about your kids and now you're just leaving them.
Yeah.
So they were very like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I don't know. What came after?
I was going to say, just as an example, my sister forgot by accident, she was just quickly cleaning her house, and my nephew was young, and she forgot to strap him in all the way in the high chair, and he leaned forward and fell and hit his head, and I threatened her. I said, if you ever fucking do that to my nephew again,
well, you know what,
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Right.
But I was serious.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You're protective, even if it's not your children. Those are your nieces and nephews. Yeah. Right. So or your grandchildren. It doesn't matter. They're just as protective over those kids as you are.
And listen, nobody's fucking perfect.
Absolutely.
There are humans that are good who make mistakes, and then there are humans who are just bad that you stay away from.
Absolutely.
And your family are just humans who are good, who made mistakes. A mistake.
And it was lack of communication. I feel like if we were all talking,
right,
it would have been a different story. But I think everything happens for a reason.
Yes. Somebody was meddling. Somebody literally interfered and was manipulating the situation.
Right.
And so that was why it played out the way that it played out.
Yes.
But I mean, I would love to talk about now and like where we're at and
All right, let's talk about the first time they came here.
So you started talking to your mom in the beginning of May because we moved in here May 1st. So
a couple days before we moved in.
Right. We'll just say May 1st. And so that kind of started you and your mom talking again.
Yeah.
And you still weren't talking to your brother.
No, not yet.
Because
my parents were trying to tell me like, hey, listen, he didn't mean the things he said. He was talking because he was pissed off, rightfully so. But they were saying he's very sad. Like I'm telling you guys, me and my brother, extremely close. Like extremely close. Never had an issue. Like me and him rarely fought. I would literally follow him around everywhere. That's how close we were as kids. So his reaction was literally left field. After finding out why, I'm like, okay, but it was still like, but hurtful, you know?
Were you afraid that I didn't want you to speak to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was very angry with him, obviously, before I heard the full story. Like, yeah. I was really angry because I'm like, he purposely, like, in my head at the time, I was like, he outed you.
Right.
And then said some things. And how do you get there?
Yeah.
So for a while, I was like, I said to her, for a while, I said to you, like, yeah, if you want to, like, I'm cool with making amends with your parents if they come correct. But what he did was unforgivable because at the time I felt like it was without the context.
Yeah, we didn't know the full context yet.
Right. But then you started talking to your mom. Your mom gave you and it took a while for the context to come out.
Yes, my mom didn't tell me actually right away.
No, it took a couple of weeks for her to tell the whole story. And once then the details were given to us, I remember you looked at me when you were ready after the context was given and we knew the whole story. If you remember, you and I we were in the bathroom and you looked at me and you were like, would you be upset if I made amends with my brother? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And what did I say?
You're like, you supported me through it. You're like, whatever you want to do, I will support you. You ended up supporting me.
Right. Yeah. Because after the context was given, I was like, okay, that makes sense. It made sense.
Yeah.
That why he was so upset.
Right. I would feel the same way. Honestly, if he was doing it or if Rhea was doing it, I would be fucking pissed.
You'd be pissed off.
How do you leave your child? Right. I don't get it.
If you saw that Rhea not saw, because he didn't see anything because it wasn't happening, but if you were told that as a matter of fact.
And I get it. A lot of people are going to say, well, why didn't he just talk to you about it? I agree. It could have went a different way, but I really think everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't be here. And you mentioned this the other day. You said if you stayed at your mother's house, father's house, they would have taken care of you and you wouldn't have this place.
We would have never started
the podcast. This would have never even happened.
We wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. And this podcast got us this home, which got me my kids. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So it was meant for him to react. It was meant for my parents to react the way they did so I can literally light a fire in my ass for my kids and get them. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. The universe plays its role in everything.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, because think about it. We would have never been at Rhea's.
No.
You and Rhea would have never been on that couch together.
Telling them our story, and you would have never said, you should do the podcast.
Right. Well, this podcast wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
If this whole situation hadn't played out the way that it did. And so now.
Wild.
So now, a couple weeks goes by. She's slowly, I feel you were getting into the groove of things with your mom.
Yeah, no.
You had a guard.
I definitely had a guard up because me and my mom went from talking every day 3-4 times a day to cold turkey, stopped talking to her. So when I got used to not talking to her, even though I'm not going to lie, like we were in Ria's basement at the time when I was staying there, I remember laying down on the bed and looking at Tori and crying and saying, I miss my family. I was close with my parents. I was close with my brother. So it's like, how do you go from having this close, tight relationship to like not having a relationship at all?
Yeah.
You know, at first you really do grieve. So you go through these like emotions. At first you're pissed off. Like you're like, I'm fucking done with them. Never talking to them again. Don't even, like, I don't give a fuck. To, well, if they apologize, I'm open to it. To, are they going to apologize? Because I miss them. You know, to like, you know, like I was really going through the process.
And I also want to add, like, as angry as your family was in thinking that what you were doing was not, like, in thinking that you really were abandoning your kids or leaving them to the side.
Yeah.
When your ex came to them and said, hey, I need you to prove that she's unfit, like, and testify or whatever.
Yeah, there was a time where he was asking my parents basically to say that I'm an unfit mother, that I'm crazy, so he can have full custody of the kids. And my parents were like, fuck no. They still didn't give me away that way.
Right. And even your brother.
My brother was
your brother
asked.
told him to go fuck himself.
Yep. And that was the last time, because my brother was like, I'm not talking to this guy. This guy's, no.
He's plotting.
Yeah. It sounded like he literally was playing chess, and
he thought he could get inside people's heads to, I guess.
It worked for a little while.
Oh, yeah, for a couple of months. Yeah. But that was just because nobody communicated anything.
Are you okay, baby? Your eyes watering.
Yeah, I was just rubbing it. Nobody communicated anything. And I think that realistically, that's the only place that like your parents and your brother went wrong, was not communicating.
Right. But again, like we said, everything happens for a reason.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they weren't being malicious. They weren't being unsupportive of you.
Right. No, not at all. Because I mean, if they felt that way and they were like, oh, screw it, you know what? She's leaving her kids anyway. But they were like, something's wrong here.
Right.
Something's not right. And they told him, no, we're not signing anything off. We're not going to sit here and bash our daughter for you. No.
Like, fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that went on. And then my parents finally came to visit for the very first time.
It was Memorial Day weekend. And Liza had a bunch of tournament games that weekend. And we were having a good time that weekend, too.
That was a blast.
Yeah. So they just randomly came over.
They did. They came over. Tori obviously was here. And I remember when they were coming, I said to Tori, I'm like, are you okay? Are you comfortable? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. And honestly, it was almost like when I opened the door and let my parents in, it was almost like nothing ever happened. Like, they hugged Tori. We hugged, we talked and everything like that. We sat on the deck.
The four of us sat on the deck.
And my dad, I've never seen that man open up to anyone. Literally opened up to Tori and was like, yeah, I've made mistakes in my past.
We talked about the podcast.
And he was like, I don't know. He was just like a different person with you, which I've never seen that side. And he is like, he loves Tori. Even my mom, they legit love Tori.
I love them. I do.
Yeah.
I love them a lot. I see what they do for you, you know?
Yeah.
And their concern for you and all of that. And like, we've told the story about her childhood and everything like that. But people change. And people grow up and they learn their lessons and they try.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And your dad looked at me and he said, yeah, I did some fucked up things.
Right.
In my life. And I'm not proud of what I did.
Right.
What else did you say?
A sense of me feels bad that we even honestly told, like, even though it was our story too, it was their story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts me to know that because they got family reaching out to them, and after they heard the podcast, like people were reaching out because my mom, it was their story, my mom's story too, my dad's story too. So it's like,
Yeah.
it really was in a sense unfair.
I never meant to hurt anybody in
Absolutely.
that, and neither
Same.
did you.
Same.
And neither did Rhea.
No, absolutely not.
Rhea never meant
no,
to hurt
no,
your
no,
parents.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. That again, that was her story.
Right.
But everybody plays a part in a story.
In the story. Right.
So I kind of wish, I don't know. For me, I kind of wish we thought it through a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it did affect them, and that's not fair. Where I'm not out here to like literally make my parents' life hell, which after the podcast it did. Like my parents literally had to deal with a lot of shit from people of something that's happened years ago. Not to say that it's okay because it happened years ago, but it was just.
But your dad looked at me and said, what I did in my past was not okay.
Yeah, he said, I regret it. He said it. My dad's never owned shit. Let me tell you, my dad was like, it's not me. Like, he'll just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any typical European father, like hardcore, you know, like, but when I saw him sit outside and he was just like, he got emotional about it. He said it was a lot. He's like, he feels bad about the whole thing, but he also feels like shit because he's like, I also had to get backlash now from a whole bunch of people. Like my mom had to turn off her phone. She said people kept calling her.
And he loves his kids.
Oh my God, he loves us, honestly.
He really just wants. I love her dad. I mean, I love both of her parents.
I know, but my dad is like.
But like, I just love your dad.
Same.
I really do.
Such a good guy.
And
he
like
really
he just wants the family to be together.
That's all he wants. He's like, when I get back from Europe, because they're in Europe right now, he's like, I want to call Rhea. I want to fix things. I want to get it. He's like, in the end of the day, that's my daughter. I love her. Like, he's like, I will never, if she needs me right now, I will drop what I'm doing and I will run to her. This is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's the truth. He will.
He will in a heartbeat.
He came here. We needed our screen. The people who lived here before us were disgraziad.
Yeah, they were disgusting.
And
so we had a lot of like damaged things.
We still do that we need to fix, but one of the things was our screen door.
Yeah,
downstairs.
It was ripped up. They had put like a plastic container top on it to like block the hole. Like it was disgusting.
Just gross.
So my dad took me to Home Depot, paid for all the stuff, and legit fixed whatever he can fix here.
Yeah. And
tried to help out. Like
I've seen firsthand them help you.
Yeah.
They wasted there was no, oh no, you talked about this on a podcast. Fuck off. You.
Yeah.
There was no, you said this, I'm not helping you, go fuck yourself. It was the minute she started talking to her dad again and her mom again, it was, how can we help you?
What can we do for you? Yeah.
Literally.
My dad always, I said, do you and Tori need money? Are you guys okay? Like, let me know if you need money. Please let me know. Like,
he told her flat out, if ever you run into issues with your place, do not worry. I will literally
help you.
Take care of it for you. Not that
we're relying on my dad.
Not that we're even close to there, but she has a lot of like, she's a worrywart.
Yeah.
And so all she does is fucking worry. Like,
well, I mean, you go from all you want to do is fight to get these kids, and you finally get them, and now you have the fear of losing them again.
Yeah. She's just so fearful. Sorry.
Not that we're going to lose them, because we're doing great.
Yeah, we're doing
financially
really good.
We're doing great. We're thriving.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast, yes, we're holding down literally 3 jobs,
but we're killing it.
Maybe you 4, but like we're like,
my girlfriend is so terrified of the rug being pulled out from underneath her. She's never been in control of anything in her entire life.
No, because you know how you hear that is it a saying, what goes up must come down?
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's going so good. when is it going to not be good? Like,
Yeah, but baby, if you think about it, I promise we'll get back to the story. But if you think about it, baby, we're still living in like survival mode, really.
We are.
The way that we work our dicks off.
Yeah, we are holding down literally 3 jobs.
Right. We're not gonna get to go on vacation any fucking times.
No.
Unless the podcast really just blows the fuck up and we can quit everything else that we're doing.
Oh my God, and stay focused on the podcast.
And just focus
incredible.
on one thing. But we're not going on any grand fucking vacations anytime soon.
No.
You know?
No,
At least for the next 2 years while I'm in grad school.
I know.
So anyway, so getting back to and again, that's not to say that we're poor.
No. We are fine.
Or we're struggling.
But we want to bust our asses while we can to make that money so we can keep everything afloat.
Right. Keep the cushion. We're in a really good spot.
Yeah,
right now.
We're good.
And we want to remain in that spot.
Right.
So we're working our dicks off
To stay there.
And some people have to do that.
And we're okay with that. We'll do it for as long as we have to do it. And we know, in my heart of hearts, I know we're not going to do it forever.
No.
This is
It's
a temporary thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's just nice to know that if, God forbid, I couldn't pay rent, let's say, which would never freaking happen, but if it did, I know my parents, if I called them up and, hey, Dad, I'm having a problem, my dad will literally take the shirt off his back to give to me. Like, he's that type of guy.
And honestly, I feel like me too.
Yeah.
So we have this exchange. Like, this is the first time the 4 of us are actually together in the same place. And we all hang out. This was Memorial Day weekend. And I had a good time. I didn't want them to leave.
Same. It was nice.
I really didn't. I was like, that was really awesome. Let's like
do that again.
She's like, I'm so sorry my parents pop in. And I'm like, they can pop in anytime. That was actually really good. I enjoyed that. So then you made amends with your brother. That was the day.
That was the same day. I ended up talking to him. That went well. He took accountability too. I mean, we all figured out what the hell the issue was. And it's honestly, it feels so good and so right to talk to them.
You got to go with how it feels.
It does. And I'm not going to sit here and dwell on something that they heard. I think, like I've said before, things happen for a reason.
Yeah, because then what happened?
Exactly.
What happened after you made amends with him and his wife?
What happened?
You got your second job.
That's right. I ended up getting my second job.
They helped her wasted no time. Nothing was thrown in her face. Nothing has ever been thrown in her face.
No.
It's not, I did this for you, blah, 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 blah. I gave you this. I gave you this opportunity. Not once has any of her family members done that.
No.
You know, like none of them. None of them. Not your brother, not your sister-in-law, not your mom, not your dad.
No. And I remember it's because I was stressing. We were driving and I was stressing that, and I was talking to my brother's wife on the phone and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? My job at the physical therapist office might shut down, but we don't know for sure yet. It's up in the air. That girl was so worried about me, and she's over here pregnant and has her own life. She's worried about me keeping this place afloat, that she's like, I got you. Give me a second. I'm going to go talk to my boss. 2 days later,
she had a job.
I got a job and I get paid much more for working for 4 days, paid more money than I get paid working.
She
here.
More than doubled her income with that job,
which helped tremendously. And I'm totally grateful for her. Like, she didn't have to worry about me, but she was even, remember when we were talking to her, she was like taking a deep breath after we talked to my now boss and he hired me, and she's like, oh my God, you have no idea how happy I am. Meanwhile, my brother's like, okay, if that doesn't work out, I'm filling out a CVS test, which by the way, I failed. He took the test and they gave me the email. They're like, sorry, you have not passed the next level or whatever, but it was for CVS as a pharmaceutical or something. I don't know what the hell he was
Like
applying.
remote. They were applying for remote
For
jobs.
remote
her.
jobs for me, and they were trying to do whatever they could to help me out, because my brother lives overseas, so whatever him and his wife could do, they were trying. They were trying to help me out.
And that is what family does.
Yeah.
So then your sister-in-law came to America.
Yes, she came with my nephew, which, by the way, he's a sweet pea.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
I love him.
He really is.
Yeah, they came, and me and Tori went with the kids. We all hung out with her. And
It was her sister-in-law, Ryan, Eliza, me, Xhejlan, her mom and dad.
Yeah, and my nephew.
And her nephew.
And literally, we were there for like 3-4 hours, just like having
out.
such a good time.
Yeah.
I decorated the whole house, like welcome home to them.
And I just remember all of us, we started doing the vale.
Yeah, and then at one point we started playing Albanian music, and then me, Ginta, and Tori, we were just starting to dance, and
so
it felt good.
Needless to say, though, I remember then as well, sitting down next to your dad, and he just looked around and he goes, "See, this is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about togetherness. It's about,"
Yeah.
and that's literally
all he wants.
all he wants.
He just wants his family together.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I fucking love him.
I know. He like literally opens his phone and he's showing Tori all kinds of stuff. He wants to take us overseas next year. He's like, we're gonna go. We have to go overseas. Like, he wants to do a whole family trip there.
Yeah.
The fact for me is to sit back and just watch how my parents interact with you, babe. It's like, I'm gonna start crying. I'm emotional.
You cry.
I literally cry for everything.
It's okay.
But it feels so good because it's like all I ever wanted, you know? Like, I have my kids and the person I fucking love, and then my family to love you.
I feel that way too.
It's like, it means the world to me.
I get that. Yeah, that's how I feel when like my family members are coming up to me at fucking parties, and like my aunt's like, I really like her. Like, you know what I mean? I love that.
No, it feels good.
It makes you finally feel like, holy shit, like,
You found your person.
this is my person, you know? Because I've never had family members at all do that, you know?
Yeah, no. Same. I've never, like, I never expected it. I never expected them to be, because this whole time, like we've said, we thought it was because I was gay, so I didn't know how they were going to act with Tori when the truth did come out. I'm like, is it really because that's the case? Like, I was still like you said, I had a guard up. Like,
Yeah,
is it really?
you were skeptical.
Yeah.
For sure.
But to see them around her and just hug her, and they're like talking in Albanian, like Tori will go, "To dua," which means I love you, and they're like, "They never to do me," like, which means, and we love you, like,
Yeah.
like to see
And
them react.
And your dad will hit us up on on social media.
Yeah,
He'll watch our stuff.
he watches our stuff. He hearts our pictures. He's hearted and loved our videos.
He's commented.
He's commented.
And I'll hit him up and just be like, "Love you, Pop." And
She's FaceTimed him a couple times while he was overseas. Like,
yeah. Well, he FaceTimed me.
Yeah.
That one time, and I was like, "What's happening?" And he just wanted to show me
what his country looked like.
What his country looked like, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
And then the next day he did it again. He's like, "Hey, Tori, look at, now I'm in another place. Look at this. Look how cool this is." Like,
yeah, he's a good guy. He really is.
He genuinely loves you.
He's a generous. He really is generous.
Oh my God.
Has he always been like that?
Mm-hmm.
He's a generous, like, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He really
He is. I don't, when I'm around him, you know, when you're around people that have bad vibes,
you could feel it.
You can feel
and
it.
you feel uncomfortable.
You feel the ick.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're having a good time with them, you can feel the ick.
No, you could feel it's phony.
Yeah. With him, I don't feel that way.
No, not at all.
I don't.
Not at all. And they're so appreciative too. Like, even though my dad does for me, we did for them too. Like,
taking them to the airport.
taking them to the airport. That drive alone was so fun. Like we were joking the whole time.
The four of us went.
Blasting music and dancing.
Yeah,
like it was a good ride.
Yeah.
Even going there.
Yeah, we did. We had a good time.
Oh my God, me peeing in the cup. That's a whole story in itself.
Yeah, we'll tell that story another time because that has nothing to do with your parents.
I know, but that was fucking funny.
But we had a whole. Yeah, that was funny. I almost crashed.
Yeah.
We had like a whole road trip with your parents.
Literally a whole road trip. It was so nice. And even before we got to the airport, he took us to like Dunkin' just because it was in the morning, so to get some coffee and drinks and food. He would not stop asking Tori what she wanted till she actually grabbed something, because he couldn't not feed her or anything. He's like, no, you need to get something. I don't care. Get a drink, get coffee, whatever you want. He's like, take it. I'm paying. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Which was so
No,
cute.
they are. Your parents are. Your mother is just very. She's
literally me.
I was just about to say, you guys are the same fucking person.
Yeah.
That's why when she'll call, and if we don't answer, or if Xhejlan doesn't answer, she'll think there's something going on over here. And she'll have like a titty attack.
And I do the same thing with Tori. If Tori doesn't answer,
and the kids,
I literally freak out.
But it was funny because today that happened.
Yeah.
Your mom called you. You were sleeping. You didn't answer.
Yeah. And then Ginta messaged us and was like, hey, are you guys good? Because mom's over here freaking out for no reason.
Her sister-in-law is Ginta. So she calls her mom back. She goes, Nedge, I was sleeping, Nedge. And I wanted to be like...
I know, you're like, be nice. I'm like, but this is how I talk to her.
Yeah, but I wanted to be like, you do this all the time.
Oh, I know.
You can't get annoyed with her.
No, I can't. I wasn't even annoyed because I know how my mom is.
I know you weren't really annoyed.
But yeah. No, she's good people too. My mom is a sweetheart.
So
she's
that's
a good soul.
Where we're at, with the situation where Xhejlan's rebuilding.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are already solid and rebuilt.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
And I'm building, because I'm just coming into the family, and like I'm like your dad. I love the togetherness, and I love hanging out and just, you know how I am.
Oh yeah, you are.
Being around family and friends and good people and enjoying yourself.
Enjoying the company.
Yeah. Eating, drinking, dancing, and laughing and doing all of that. I love that. So it's weird because I see a lot of myself in your dad.
Yeah.
A lot of because I could tell he's the same way. He loves that. And he loves music.
Loves music. Oh my God. Yeah.
And
a lot of his songs that we listen to because of him. I'm like, oh, that's dope.
He put us on. To a couple songs. So that's where we're at, and it's honestly, I think, regardless of what has happened, I think it's a beautiful story. And I think telling the story gives a little bit of hope,
especially for the people out there who've had to cut their family off for whatever reason.
And by no means keep people in your life who are toxic, who blame you and only you, never take accountability. By no means do not accept abuse into your life. I will always say that to people, right?
Agreed, 100%. If my parents never took accountability, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
That's not happening, but they did.
Right. There's a difference between accepting abuse and making amends with people who just made a genuine mistake.
Right.
And there shouldn't be hate in that, and especially with family members. Like my dad, for instance. We can tell that story too.
Yeah, go for it. Do you want to do a part 2? You can get in your part.
Nah.
Or you just want to
We'll tell that on another episode.
And I'm saying,
what?
Because we're gonna record 2 tonight.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that the next one? Since
Sure.
we're talking on topics of parents.
Sure.
Okay.
Like my dad, My dad hasn't even taken the accountability that I've seen her parents take, you know? My dad still believes that I owe him an apology. My dad still blames me. My dad makes up lies about things and plays the victim. And that's the reason why I'm still not speaking to him. My dad tries to explain things away, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I've watched Xhejlan's parents be so gentle with her. You know, I've watched her parents be so loving and generous just out of the kindness of their hearts. I've watched her parents own up to their shit and feel genuinely shitty about things that were said and done. And I think that that's what we want to, that's the picture we want to paint.
Right. Yeah.
Going forward, because they're good people.
They really are.
And I wouldn't say it like if I didn't feel it. I wouldn't come on here and say all that.
Same. I wouldn't waste my time and talk about it. But I don't want, I know what we've said on the podcast previously, but we didn't know the whole truth.
Yeah.
We didn't. And now that we found it all out, I don't want my parents to be portrayed as the fucking villains, because they are not. They're far from villains. Like, they are good hearted people. My dad is a good fucking man. My mom is an amazing mom. Like, I'm blessed to have them in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I feel bad for, I mean, I didn't know what was going on.
You didn't know.
I was speaking out of being pissed off and hurt.
And another thing I want to clear up before we continue with this shit, because as y'all know, probably, we've received a lot of people in our comment sections lately just talking shit about how we air our dirty laundry out and things like that. And I promise you, this podcast will never be about that, has never been about that. This podcast has only ever been about us telling our stories of our trauma and the things that have made us who we are today.
Right.
And if none of that is happening, we're not going to talk about it. We don't care about viewership. We don't care about what the fuck people think. We don't care about, oh, is this good enough for this person? We're not sellouts.
Or what's going to get us more followers.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
No, thank you.
We don't. Yes, we want this to grow, but authentically and organically,
yep.
And the way that it's meant to grow. So there were not a couple. There was one particular person.
Don't even mention their name.
No, I'm not going to mention their name.
That.
I don't even remember their name. But there was one particular person who said that we air out our dirty laundry. And no, the fuck we don't. And a lot of people feel entitled to
an explanation.
More of an explanation as to what happened with me, Rhea, Amber, and Xhejlan. And on the record, I will say, you're not fucking entitled to that. And you will never get that. La 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 la. Because that's not your place to know anything.
Yeah, we don't owe anybody anything, honestly. No. We love you guys, all of you who are supporting. We love you guys.
Right.
But please stop with the the questions of what happened. There's got to be more to it. If there isn't, that is our family matter. This has nothing to do with anyone else, and we just wish that everybody would respect that.
We get it. It's a public breakup, essentially. But that doesn't mean y'all need to know the fucking details and the infinitesimal details of what's happening.
Yeah, we even had somebody on the thing say, well, you're a podcast. You might as well tell the truth because it seems you guys are being fake.
No.
I'm sorry. I didn't know we owed you an explanation because we're a podcast. There's many podcasts out there that you don't get a full fucking story. And if you do, it becomes a bullshit story. So, no, we don't owe anything to anyone.
This isn't a tea podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I know people like to mistake discussing your traumas and things that have happened to you in the past with spilling the tea on shit, but those two are not the same.
No.
This is not a tea spilling podcast.
Or
So,
like starting drama.
or a drama podcast. Right. This isn't that. Okay. So I just want to address that in this episode and never fucking talk about it again, because we are being as authentically human as possible. We are being the most authentic that we can be in these episodes in what we talk about. And just because we're not giving you the infinitesimal details of our lives doesn't mean we're inauthentic. I have sex with my girlfriend a lot. Do I give y'all the details of how that goes? No. But that does that mean that I'm being fake because I'm not giving y'all the fucking tiny details? No. So lay the fuck off, officially on the record.
And that's for the people who are being fucking rude, because it's
right.
not the people who are like genuinely asking because they
y'all know who I'm talking to. The people who have given their opinions. You're entitled to your opinion. That's perfectly fine. Whether you're
wait. Let me also make very clear that nor her or I are fucking acting like Amber and Rhea. We are separate fucking humans. Mm-hmm. We have our own fucking personalities. We do our own fucking things. So please stop saying that we're trying so hard to be Rhea and Amber, because I promise you we are not.
Okay, yeah.
I just want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry, that hit me because that fucking annoys the shit out of me.
You're entitled to your opinions. You're entitled to whatever your opinions are. Even if your opinion is that me and Xhejlan are fucking boring and you don't want to hear the podcast, and that's your opinion. That's fine.
That's fine.
But to feel like you are entitled to some sort of details of a story, fuck off with that. You're not entitled to that. You're not entitled to watch me wipe my ass when I go take a shit. You're not entitled to details of our lives. You are only entitled to what we give you and what we choose to give you. Are we being fake in that? No. We're choosing to keep our privacy private.
Right.
And so we ask for the last fucking time that y'all respect it. The people who aren't, obviously, again, your opinions aside, you're allowed to have your opinions.
Yeah.
Go off on your opinions. I'm not afraid of opinions. I'm not afraid of entitlement either. But it pisses me off. So I just want to say that and make that very clear. This is not a podcast of airing out dirty laundry. This is a podcast of talking about very real shit that's going on and has gone on in our lives, and maybe shedding some light on that shit. So don't get it fucking twisted. And that's that.
Like that.
Amen to that. I think mic drop. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt people's ears. So with that being said, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you. And we love all of you guys.
We do.
Are supporting
all of the support that we're getting. The outpour of support
is incredible. Like legit. I love you guys. Like
she cried.
I cried when I read your guys'
the Patreon comments.
Yeah, the Patreon comments. Oh my God, I legit cried.
Mm-hmm.
I love all of you guys so much. Thank you for those sweet
I have
comments.
A video of it, and we're gonna be posting it as like extra content. So stay tuned for that if you're on Patreon. We appreciate all of the support. We don't mean to focus on the negativity, but there was a lot of negativity in our comment sections.
Mm-hmm.
And again, opinions are fine. You're entitled to your opinions. But when what you're not entitled to is details of a story that you know nothing about. So, amen to that. We will see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Pound it. I love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time.
Look, I got a different wave.
I like this one.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, guy over there.
Hey,
guy. Hey, guy.